Well, hello there, and welcome back. I'm sorry I can't wave, but my frames are kind of stuttering right now because of what's going on behind me. I'm here in a map that was built by none other than Il Mango. This is a fairly old zombie pigman farm, and I was told that it didn't work anymore, and I just took that at face value. But apparently it's working fine, and what's supposed to not work is that these zombie pigmen are supposed to lose aggro after a certain amount of time. I've been running this for quite a while, and it still seems to work normally. I think what happened was that during one of the snapshots, they did a fix to the aggro that made this not work, but apparently it just works again, so I'm not sure what's going on exactly there. Now, this is definitely a cool build, but I built it a couple of times before, and I was a little bit happy when I thought that it didn't work anymore, because it kind of warps the beginning of the game, because you can build this thing right away, and it's an absolute experience machine. Now, I don't really need the experience anymore. I mean, I could kind of use it, but I'm glad I built a Blaze farm, and I'm about to build a Guardian farm, and that's going to create more experience than this will. I really just don't need the experience. What I really need is the gold. And so I've had this running for a while, and I'm using Nembomb's carpet mod, and here are the results. Let's do an update on that. So yeah, we got 7,070 gold nuggets and 345 gold ingots per hour. There's also the golden swords that you could melt down to make more nuggets. I've never done that before, but technically you could do that. So that's somewhere around 1,100 total when gold nuggets, not including the golden sword, but including the golden ingots, is 9 nuggets each. So that's kind of my target, and I've built another mob farm that's quite a bit simpler than this, that comes pretty close to that target. You don't get the gold ingots because you're not aggroing them, but it's a much simpler mob farm. It's worth mentioning that if you do want to build this specific mob farm, I will put the link in the description. I'm not building this specific one. But I did have to make some modifications. This one had torches all over it, and zombie pigmen don't spawn above light level 12 anymore, so I had to remove all the torches, and you may actually have to do a full glass roof in the nether in order to keep endermen from spawning on the top layer. So those are some modifications that had to be made. It's also worth mentioning that magma creams don't spawn on this anymore, which is kind of cool. So you could probably go without the iron golems. So here's my design. I'm getting just over 10,000, so 10,200 gold nuggets per hour. But because I'm not relying on the aggro or anything like that, you're never getting any golden swords. You're never getting any gold ingots. But it's a much simpler design. So, and the other thing is, because you're not relying on aggro, there's never any chance that they will de-aggro at any point. They will always just keep, as long as you're in that point right there, they will always just keep spawning, and they will always go chasing after this turtle egg that is in the middle here, and they will never reach it. And there is a turtle egg down on this layer as well. And these fences keep the ones that are on this level from falling down and being able to hit it. And then there's 3 levels that maxes out the spawn cap. So there's not really any point to building more than 3 levels. And this circle right here is the highest radius at which they will go after the turtle egg. So any time that they spawn anywhere in this radius, they will go after that turtle egg. And then there's a glass roof to keep endermen and ghasts from spawning on this top layer. And yeah, it's a very, very simple design. They fall 27 blocks. They fall onto some hoppers. And then I would build a sorting system to get rid of all the rotten flesh. So I know it's a bit of a distraction. I was planning on starting out with a slime farm. We will definitely still get to that this episode. But I got inspired to make this thing, and I think it's kind of cool. I could definitely use the gold, so I think I'm going to build it. So to get started with this, I need to get on top of the nether. And this has been patched multiple times, and yes, I am abusing a glitch. And now it's actually easier than normal. So I've got my head at 125. This is the top of the nether right there, 126. And I just point between these two blocks and use another ender pearl and suffocate to death. Shoot, I guess it didn't work. I tested this. So what I did wrong was actually pretty simple. My head was actually at 124 and not 125, so there were 2 things of bedrock above me. So hopefully this goes, oh yep, that's much smoother. Alright, looks like my items are right over there. Alright, I come back through and I've identified this spot right here, which is negative 5111. And this is a spot, the spot I came in with had bedrock underneath it. So this is actually a much better spot for me to actually break the nether roof. So I should be able to just, there we go. So this is the spot, let me check this again. Negative 5111, I believe was the right number. So that's the spot I actually want to break the roof of the nether. Not going to go into too much detail about how breaking through the bedrock works. I'll post a link to this in the description instead. And it's very useful, but hopefully this, I got this set up right. So I do this, and then, is this right? Something feels wrong. Missing some redstone back here. Glad I checked. I believe that's everything now. So I can break these there. I got 2 pistons without heads here. Then hopefully, there we go. That looks good. And we're through the nether. That's awesome. Well, I AFK'd at this thing overnight, and now I have more gold than I will probably ever use. And I've got an infinite supply of really good quality food, which I really needed. And there's a couple more blocks in there. So probably won't see much more of this thing, because there's not a lot of reason for me to come back to it. But that's kind of the point, and I'm definitely glad I made it. It's pretty cool. I'm down underground where I found my first few slime chunks. There's one over there. There's one over here somewhere right there. And I have actually expanded quite a bit. So there's another beacon right here. So that's the first beacon I set up. There's no beacon on top of it. These are just the beacon bases that I left here. And then even further down, we don't need these walls anymore. Yeah, there's actually some slimes. I could use those. I recorded a couple videos of me setting all this up, but I didn't record them properly, so we're just jumping forward a little bit to where I've already got all this set up. I decided I didn't want, because of the location of where those slime chunks were, I just didn't really want to use any of them, and I decided that closer to my floating island base was a much better place to put all of this. And so I'm actually, when you get further down here, I'm under the ocean. So like this is, when I got down here, I was under the deep ocean, and there's actually a channel of water right here that goes all the way up to the top. And I decided none of this was probably very good for me, but I found one. So there's actually 3 slime chunks right here that are kitty corner from each other. There's one here, there's one here that we just saw, and there's one here that I have already dug out and I did not put enough. And I don't have a bow on me, so I didn't put enough torches at the bottom. I put some glass up at the top because it is under the water. It's just at the shore. We can actually go up and look at that. Here we are flying by my floating island, which doesn't look like much yet, but it will in the future. But down here you can see it's not loading. There's actually water above that slime face, and it takes a minute for it to load in. I've flown by this a few times, and I've decided I want to raise that up to the ocean surface so it's a little more obvious. I like the slime face, and I want it to be kind of obvious and kind of stand out a little bit. So I'll do that in the near future. Originally, I was going to build the old standard slime farm that I built before that uses iron golems to attract the slimes over to the sides and then magma blocks to kill them. There is a new one using portals to get them quickly into the nether and then kill them there. And I wasn't going to do that, largely because I was feeling lazy and didn't want to spend 2 hours mining obsidian in the end dimension. But I've done much worse than that. And so, I mean, it's new. It might be worth a try. I think I might want to try it. The problem is I've got another portal up there. Oh, it's there. I've got another portal back there. I got another one over there. And I need to build at least one way down there. And it needs to not sync to any of these portals, because otherwise I will fall and get trapped and died, because that's the idea, is you want to trap the slimes and kill them. So I need... hopefully the fact that it's like at y=40 or probably even lower. I might even have to clear out magma in the nether, which might not be fun. We'll see. I'm gonna play with some nether portals and see if I can get everything synced up properly. If I can't, I might be stuck with the old version, but I'd like to try the new version. The portal syncing ended up working out just fine. So I've got, here is the remnants of an obsidian tower. I don't know how much further down that goes, but it was one of the taller ones. There's the bedrock way up there. So I mined all this out. I'm pretty sure it took me a little more than 2 hours, probably 3 or so. I did it over, I took a few breaks and everything like that. So I've got 2 shulker boxes, and you need 2 and 5 stacks. And I've got some extra just because obsidian is useful stuff. So that should do it. In order to get the best rates, I need to mine an extra 5 blocks out in every direction. So from this corner all the way to this corner. So I'm also going to mine an extra block out just so I can install a wall so you don't have messy stone and diorite and granite on all the walls. You won't really be able to see it, but you know, there'll be a glass roof, so I might stand on top of it from time to time. I want it to look at least kind of nice. So I'm going to move this glass roof up to the surface here at the same time, and this shouldn't take too long. Got all the portal frames set up. There is a slab roof up there above it. So the next thing I need to do before lighting all these portals is to go into the nether and set up the other end. I've got the killing and collection room right here. Ilmango's super simple design involves using wither roses so that you can just use hoppers under soul sand. Unfortunately, I don't have a wither rose farm yet. That is something I want to do at some point in the near future, but I didn't want to get distracted by another farm just yet. So I've got the magma block with hopper mine carts. Unfortunately, these things can be a little bit glitchy. They can just stop on the rails sometimes. So I'm going to want to swap those out for wither roses fairly soon, but I've got the setup for right now and it's working pretty well. And then instead of having to come all the way down here to do my collection, because this is pretty low, this is at Y39 and that's even further, and the chest actually would have been in the lava lake. So I set up this super fast dropper elevator, so it uses observers to kick the items up really quick. I'll put a video of how to make this in the description. This is not a quiet elevator, it's very fast. So I wanted to make sure the items didn't get clogged up down here or anything like that. So it's super duper fast, but it's not quiet, and it doesn't matter. It's not in my base. It's not like I'm going to mind the ticking noise. And for the most part, the ticking noise is going to happen while I'm in the overworld at the AFK point. And then there might be a small residual when I come into nether, but it's not going to be a big deal. So that sends the items up to my main path, which I'll go look at in a second. But I may have made a pretty big mistake here. I was supposed to set this all up in one chunk, and I'm pretty sure that this is the only chunk that stays loaded while I'm in the overworld. So it'll drop the slimes down, they'll probably die, but as soon as those hopper minecarts leave this area, they will probably just not exist as far as the game's concerned until I come back into the nether. So chances are I'll have a lot of drops sitting on the magma blocks, and then they won't get collected until I come back into the nether. So that's pretty bad. So I might have to move the whole thing 5 or 6 blocks that way. I'm pretty sure I can get it all to fit. And it looks like it's more like 7 blocks. I think I can get it all to fit. It looks like I might have to tweak a couple things, but I'm probably going to have to move this whole thing. The way I'm going to check is by lighting all the portals and then AFKing. If I AFK for 5 minutes, I should get a certain number of items. And if I AFK for longer and I get the same number of items approximately, I should get more. But if I don't, that's because they're sitting on the magma blocks and they're despawning, and I need to move all this, which is probably what's going to happen. Alright, I've got the nether portals all lit up. Very cool looking. I also went through and slabbed the other nearby slime chunks so that they're not spawning any slimes when I am up at the AFK point. And you know, it seems to be working properly. This is what I got after about 5 to 10 minutes. This is what I got after about 20 minutes. Noting that there's a day-night cycle, and I haven't torched the area around, so there's hostile mob spawns just on the ground in the area near where I was, so the longer one didn't get nearly twice as much, but still quite a bit. Apparently, there was a zombie pigman on a chicken or something like that. So that's kind of funny. But, you know, I mean, these were all here when I got there. So it seems like it's the item collection system's actually working properly. And it's actually running while I'm in the overworld. So that's kind of awesome. And this is quite a bit for just a small amount. I mean, this will hold me for at least a little while. And then I can just, like, AFK overnight and it should fill most of these chests. It's time to do some more end busting. I am in need of some more shulker shells. Oh, found a big one right here. So that's pretty awesome. So let's actually, I like to start on the ship over here. I should be able to land on it. And I've definitely never been here because there's a shulker right there. And yep, let's just go in for a landing. And this one's going to be kind of hard to kill because he's going to make me float all over the place. So let's stay behind the pillar here. And then charge up and kill this guy. And he teleported somewhere totally different. Alright, well, let's grab the elytra. And there's always a shulker right here on the outside. He's usually pretty easy to kill. Oops, I'll let him open it. There we go. And looks like no shulker shell there. And then there's this one, which is usually hard to kill because he makes you float. Alright, I got him right away. And then there's another one somewhere over here. Yeah, he's under the thing. That's going to be a hassle. And see if we can, like, chip out the bottom here. Get him to... There he is. He's right there. And... Do I go... Yeah, I'm going to go after that. And I couldn't find that shulker shell. Not sure where it dropped. So I guess we're starting out with 0 shulker shells out of, like, 3 kills already. So let's come up to the front door here and get hit, of course. And did both of them teleport away? Man, I am not having much luck here. Let's just do a walk around and see. Trying very hard to avoid eye contact with these Endermen. I have an elytra on and not a chest plate. And Endermen do a ton of damage. There's one. Going to send me up towards him. Thank you very much for that. And finally, our first shulker shell. Alright, so I got some blocks on me from the various things that I've broken. So I am horrible at parkour. So I do not mess around with it. You just kind of like build your own stairs here. I got 3 different ways to go. So let's start with falling down. This one's the smallest, it looks like. So there's one at the door. So let's hit So I don't want to start away flying, so let's hit these things if I can. Alright, that one, I'm going to get under this doorway before it starts making me fly. There we go. Come over to these corners. You can usually kill these things even while flying. There's one, and there's another one in the other corner. Oh, come on, guys. I didn't want to fly this high. Oh, I don't want to go up into this room. Shoot. You gotta be really careful in these rooms because you can take a lot of damage very quickly. So you kind of want to just like get up to the top as fast as possible, healing as you go if you need to. And I want to stay near these guys so that if they drop a shulker shell, that one did not drop a shulker shell, but I want to be able to make sure that I get it. It can be pretty easy to lose shulker shells in these rooms here. So like I even go as far as to like literally just jump on top of them and try to fall down with their shulker shell. So that one's got one on the ground. Let's eat up a carrot. There's another one over here. I just need to make it. Yep, okay. And then if you're directly under it, then if it drops a shulker shell, it's just going to drop it directly in your face. All right, and then this room should be cleared. And I don't mind tearing up these places. For one, it gives me blocks that I can use to not parkour later. Also, the holes in the wall make it so that you know where you've been, because it makes it super obvious that you tore up the whole area. So obviously you've been there. So now let's take on this larger tower. Again, don't want to get hit by one of these before I get under this doorway here. Hopefully, they just keep teleporting. I have had to fight for these 6 shulker shells. Alright, here's another one of these big rooms. Oh, this has a lot of shulkers in it. So again, the same general philosophy. Stay alive is a priority. You can always come back down and get the shulkers later. Oh, I'm taking a lot of damage. This one is a taller one. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. Let's just get up to the top. Looks like they're all dead. So we'll, these are the worst parkour things. They are nearly impossible to jump across. So the way I like to climb up them is to stair step through the walls like this. Just make stairs as I go. Alright, so, and I've already been to that thing, but I forgot in my haste to grab the dragon head from the front. And go on down. And grab this head. There we go. Yep, looks like I have completed this one. I got 14 shulker shells. We might as well come over here and grab, I'll just start a shulker box here. And put the elytra and the other extra stuff. Anything I'm worried about losing. And we'll just pack that away in my ender chest so that if worst happens and I can't find my other stuff, at least I don't lose the shulker shells. That's the most important thing. And I guess we'll just fly off and go find another one. Oh my god, it's just like right there. It just flew right into one. It looks like this one does not have an elytra. Which is, oh, there's a shit. Oh my god. What are the odds? Alright, well, let's start with the elytra then, and then come on back. It's helpful if you have an elytra, if you can just start at the top of these rooms. Same basic rules apply, but you just start at the top, so you don't have to worry about flying up through it. Oh, that's a nice pick. This time one of these rooms has an ender chest, and another one of these chests. So I'm going to steal the ender chest, but I might as well take my stuff and pack away the 6. Let's keep those separate for now so we're keeping track. And anything else that's the elytra, dragon head, sled. And we can stuff a couple of these potions. I don't need that many. And then I'll put this away and then steal the ender chest. Can always use more of those. Looks like there's just the 2 more at the front door of this one. So let's go ahead and kill those guys. Can I get them? There we go. And they both dropped a shulker shell. Awesome. Alright, and with that, we got 7 in our inventory, and then how many do we get total? Looks like we got 16 from that one, so we got 30 so far, and there's still another big one just off to the side. So let's go take that one on. Alrighty, I know this one worked out a lot better than the last two because I have already put 15 in my shulker box, and then I got 10 more. So it looks like we got 25 for this one. So that's a really good one. So we're almost up to a stack of shulker shells. I'm just going to keep on going. I've got a shulker box full of rockets and a shulker box full of carrots. So I am fully stocked. I'm just going to keep going until I get tired of it. And I'll do the haul results in the next video. So that's where I'm going to end this one. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.